7 childhood candies, ranked that were quietly discontinued. Remember when you were 8 years old and the world made sense? Your biggest problem was finishing homework before cartoons started. Your greatest achievement was trading up from a pack of gum to a full candy bar at lunch. Life was simple. And then one day, without warning, without explanation, without even a goodbye, your favorite candy just vanished. No announcement, no final sale, no chance to stockpile before they disappeared forever. 1 week, they're on the shelf. The next week, gone, like they never existed. Today, we're ranking the most devastating candy discontinuations in modern history. Stick around, because by number 1, you'll remember exactly where you were when you realized your favorite candy was never coming back. Number 7, Butterfinger BBs. Butterfinger BBs, discontinued 2006. Gone, but not exactly mourned. These tiny Butterfinger balls appeared in the late 90s and immediately became the official candy of movie theater floors everywhere. Because here's what happened every single time. You'd open the bag. The little spheres would immediately escape. They'd bounce. They'd roll under seats. Some kid 3 rows away would step on one, and it would explode into orange dust. You'd spend more time chasing them than eating them. The concept was solid. Take Butterfinger's crispy peanut butter center, make it bite-sized, give it the same chocolate coating. Easy, portable, perfect for sharing. Except nobody wanted to share because half the bag ended up decorating the theater floor before the previews finished. The texture was the real problem. Butterfinger bars have that crispy, flaky crunch that works when you're biting through layers. But compress that into a ball, it becomes dense and clumpy. The chocolate to filling ratio was off. Too much filling, not enough chocolate. Every bite was aggressively peanut buttery with a slight chocolate suggestion, and they stuck to your teeth. Not in that pleasant I'm eating a candy bar way, in that I might need dental intervention way. You'd finish a handful and spend the next 20 minutes excavating peanut butter cement from your molars. Kids liked them because they were Butterfinger branded and you could eat them fast. But adults hated them because every car ride turned into a search and rescue mission for escaped BBs that had rolled into impossible to reach crevices. When they discontinued these in 2006, the response was basically, yeah, that makes sense. No petitions, no outrage, just acceptance that some candy concepts don't survive contact with reality. Butterfinger BBs taught us an important lesson. Not everything needs to be bite-sized. Sometimes candy is better in bar form where it stays put. But at least BBs were actual Butterfinger flavor, even if delivered poorly. Number 9 was pure marketing hype, wrapped in disappointing chocolate. Number 6, Wonka Bar. The Wonka Bar, discontinued throughout the 2000s, the most overhyped candy in movie tie-in history. Let's be honest about what this was. A chocolate bar that existed purely because Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was a beloved movie and book. Nestle slapped Wonka branding on various chocolate bars throughout the decades, hoping nostalgia would override the fact that the actual candy was aggressively mediocre. Kids wanted these desperately, not because they tasted good, because they wanted to feel like Charlie Bucket finding a golden ticket. The marketing was brilliant, the execution deeply average. The chocolate itself was basic milk chocolate, not premium, not complex, not even particularly creamy. Just brown, sweet solid that could have come from any generic chocolate bar. Sometimes they'd add wafers, sometimes Rice Crisps, sometimes nothing. The versions changed constantly because Nestle kept trying to figure out what would make people actually want these beyond the branding. They never figured it out. The fundamental problem was expectation versus reality. You'd see Wonka on the wrapper and expect pure imagination in candy form. Whimsical flavors, unexpected textures, something magical that justified the premium price and movie connection. What you got was chocolate that tasted like it came from the discount bin at a drugstore, wrapped in purple packaging that promised wonder and delivered meh. Food bloggers who reviewed these during their final years were savage. Tastes like disappointment wrapped in childhood memories. The only magical thing about this bar is how it makes money despite tasting generic. I wanted Willy Wonka. I got Willy Wouldn't Bother. By the 2000s, even kids had figured it out. The Wonka Bar was a Hollywood prop that somehow became a real product nobody actually wanted. It survived on nostalgia alone, and when that finally ran out, Nestle quietly killed it without ceremony. The Wonka Bar proves an important truth. Branding can get people to try your candy once, but if it tastes like broken dreams covered in mediocre chocolate, they won't come back. At least the Wonka Bar attempted to be a real candy bar, even if it failed. Number 8 had genius packaging, but forgot the most important part, making people want to eat it. Number 5, Hershey's Bites. Hershey's Bites, discontinued 2007. The candy that peaked with its resealable bag. These tiny chocolate spheres appeared in the early 2000s with revolutionary packaging, a bag that actually resealed. No twist ties, no clips, just zip it shut and the chocolate stays fresh. The packaging was so good that people bought these just to have a resealable chocolate option. The actual candy, an afterthought. Hershey's took their basic milk chocolate, formed it into tiny balls, and called it innovation. But here's what they discovered. Making chocolate smaller doesn't make it better, it just makes it smaller. The balls were aggressively sweet. 1 or 2? Fine. 5 or 6? Your mouth felt coated in chocolate wax. 10? You've made a mistake. The size encouraged mindless snacking, and within minutes, you'd eaten half the bag without even enjoying it. The flavor was standard. Hershey's milk chocolate, which is fine in bar form where you're consciously eating it, but in tiny ball form that you're tossing back like popcorn, the sweetness became overwhelming. There was no textural interest, no flavor complexity, just sweet chocolate balls that all tasted identical. Kids liked them initially because eating a whole bag of tiny chocolates felt transgressive, like you were getting away with something, until you ate too many, felt slightly sick, and realized that regular Hershey's bars were better anyway. Parents bought them because at least it's just chocolate, and the resealable bag meant they could ration portions. Except nobody actually rationed. The bag would be full on Monday and empty by Tuesday, with no memory of who ate them all. When Hershey's discontinued these in 2007, the response was minimal. Some people missed the convenience of resealable chocolate. Nobody missed the actual chocolate balls. Hershey's Bites taught the candy industry an important lesson. Packaging innovation can't save boring candy. You need both. But at least Hershey's Bites were trying to be mainstream candy that everyone could enjoy. Number 7 was the opposite. Aggressively sour, cult-following candy that divided people into obsessed or never again. Number 4, Altoids Sours. Altoids Sours, discontinued 2010. The candy that weaponized tartness. These tiny, colorful discs came in those distinctive Altoids tins, which honestly, people kept the tins long after the candy was gone. The tins became storage for everything from paper clips to emergency cash, the candy itself. A polarizing experience that either thrilled you or destroyed your mouth. Altoids Sours came in flavors like tangerine, citrus, raspberry, and mango. They were aggressively sour, not fun tart sour, not lemonade sour. This was chemical burn disguised as candy sour. Your face would involuntarily contort. Your eyes would water, your tongue would go slightly numb, and kids loved that. There was a whole challenge culture around these. How many could you eat at once? Could you eat one without making a face? Could you finish an entire tin in one sitting? The answer to that last one was technically yes, but you'd spend the next 3 days with a raw, traumatized tongue. The actual flavor, once you got past the sour assault, was pretty good. The fruit tastes were authentic. The texture was nice, dissolving slowly instead of crunching. If they'd been 30% less sour, they might have survived. But that extreme sourness was also their identity. Tone it down, and they'd just be mints with fruit flavoring. Keep it extreme, and you're making candy that physically hurts to eat. The cult following was real but small. People who loved Altoids Sours were passionate about them. Online petitions after discontinuation gathered thousands of signatures. But the mainstream market, they tried one, experienced facial paralysis, and never bought them again. When Altoids killed these in 2010, citing low national demand, the devoted fans were devastated. The casual consumers shrugged and bought regular Altoids instead. Altoids Sours taught us that niche, intense candy can build passionate fan bases. But passionate fan bases don't always equal profitable products. At least Altoids Sours knew what they were and committed fully to being aggressively sour. Number 6 was a vintage deep cut. that older millennials and Gen Xers remember with surprising fondness. Number 3. Peanut Butter Oompas. Willy Wonka. Peanut Butter Oompas. Discontinued 1983. A vintage Wonka candy that deserved better. If you're under 35, you've probably never heard of these. But if you grew up in the 70s and early 80s, these were everywhere. Little peanut-shaped candies with peanut butter centers and chocolate coating. Simple concept, excellent execution. The peanut butter filling was creamy and sweet, closer to Reese's consistency than dry, crumbly peanut butter. The chocolate coating was thick enough to provide real chocolate flavor. The shape was fun and distinctive. You'd eat these by the handful, and they actually tasted like quality candy. But here's where things got weird. The texture. The peanut butter center had this slightly grainy quality that some people loved and others found off-putting. It wasn't smooth like Reese's Pieces. It had texture, like actual peanut butter that had been sweetened and compressed. Kids who liked texture loved these. They'd let them dissolve slowly, savoring the way the chocolate melted first. Then the peanut butter center revealed itself. Other kids bit through them fast, getting the full chocolate peanut butter hit all at once. The discontinuation in 1983 happened during one of Nestlé's many Wonka brand reorganizations. They were streamlining the product line, cutting anything that wasn't a massive seller. Peanut Butter Oompas had loyal fans, but weren't mainstream enough to survive the corporate purge. For decades afterward, people would randomly mention these online. Remember Peanut Butter Oompas? And comment sections would fill with people sharing memories. The longevity of affection for these is remarkable, given they've been gone for over 40 years. Peanut Butter Oompas represent candy from an era when companies would make something distinctive, let it find its audience, and keep it around even if it wasn't a blockbuster. That era is dead. Now everything has to be a massive hit, or it gets killed within 3 years. But at least Peanut Butter Oompas were niche candy for candy lovers. Number 5 was everywhere, stolen from teachers' desks, and then quietly disappeared. Number 2. Creme Savers. Creme Savers. Discontinued early 2010s for original line. Partially revived later, but never the same. These hard candies in strawberries and cream and orange and cream flavors were everywhere in the late 90s and 2000s. Your teacher had them in a jar on her desk. Your grandmother kept them in her purse. They were in every waiting room candy dish across America, and kids stole them constantly. Not because they were amazing candy, because they were available candy. You'd see that distinctive roll sitting unattended and think one won't be missed. Then you'd take 3, then 5. By the end of the week, someone had stolen the entire roll. The flavor was pleasant and mild. The strawberries and cream tasted like liquid strawberry ice cream in hard candy form. The orange and cream was like a creamsicle that dissolved slowly. They weren't too sweet, weren't too tart, just nice. Perfectly acceptable hard candy that nobody felt strongly about, but everyone consumed. The creamy center was the selling point. These weren't just fruit-flavored hard candies. They had that cream flavor swirl that made them feel slightly premium, like you were eating dessert in candy form. But here's the thing, nobody bought these for themselves. They were always communal candy. Office candy dishes, grandma's purse, teacher's desk, waiting rooms. You'd eat them when they were available, but you'd never think, I need to go buy Creme Savers. That's what killed them. Steady consumption, but low purchase intent. People liked them fine, but not enough to seek them out. So when Mars discontinued the original line in the early 2000s, the response was, oh, I guess those are gone now. They've been partially revived since then, but the magic never returned. Because Creme Savers weren't really about the candy. They were about that specific moment of stealing one from a teacher's desk and feeling like you got away with something. You can't bottle that. Creme Savers taught us that being everywhere doesn't mean you're loved. Sometimes it just means you're convenient. But at least Creme Savers were actual candy, even if forgettable. Number 4 was Chaos in a Tube, pure 90s energy, and probably contributed to a generation's dental problems. Number 1, Squeezit Candy Tubes, liquid candy. Squeezit Candy Tubes, massively popular in the 90s and early 2000s. Later discontinued because parents finally noticed what their kids were eating. These were insane. Plastic tubes filled with thick, goopy, artificially colored sugar gel that you squeezed directly into your mouth. They came in flavors like blue raspberry, and sour green apple that tasted nothing like actual fruit, and everything like sugar mixed with food coloring and hope. Every kid tried these at least once, usually at a friend's house because your parents would never buy them. You'd squeeze that tube and bright blue gel would shoot into your mouth, coating your tongue, your teeth, your entire oral cavity in sticky sweetness. They were disgusting. Everyone knew they were disgusting. Kids ate them anyway because they felt transgressive, like you were getting away with something, like you were eating pure sugar without adult supervision. The texture was wrong, too thick to be liquid, too thin to be solid. It just kind of existed as viscous candy goop. The flavors were one-dimensional, sweet with vague fruit suggestions. The colors were radioactive, blues, greens, and reds that definitely contained dyes banned in other countries. Parents hated these. "That's not even real candy," they'd say, watching you squeeze neon gel directly into your mouth. "That's just colored sugar." They were right, but kids didn't care. The discontinuation happened quietly. One year, they were everywhere. The next, they were gone. No explanation, just vanished from store shelves. Probably because someone finally ran the nutritional analysis and realized these were basically candy-flavored diabetes risk in a tube. Food bloggers who reviewed these retrospectively were harsh, zero nutritional value, maximum regret. Your dentist's retirement fund in tube form. If a mid-90s sugar rush could take physical form, it would be this. Squeezit Candy Tubes represent everything excessive about 90s kid culture. No restraint, no concern for consequences, just pure sugar chaos squeezed directly into your face. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful. But at least Squeezit Candy Tubes were knowingly ridiculous. Number 3 was legitimately good candy that disappeared for reasons nobody understands, and people are still mad about it. You outgrow your favorite shows, you lose touch with friends, you move away from places you loved. But candy was supposed to be permanent. You were supposed to be able to walk into any store and buy chewy runts when you're 35, just like you did when you were 9. That's the unspoken promise. The candy you loved as a kid will still be there when you're grown up, ready to trigger those memories with one taste. Except it's not, it's gone. And nobody even asked if you were ready to say goodbye. So here's to Butterfinger BBs, scattered across movie theater floors, to Wonka Bars that never lived up to their name, the candy we loved most and lost too soon. If you're still mourning a discontinued candy, drop a comment with which one. Let's grieve together. Hit subscribe for more investigations into the foods corporations took from us without asking. And maybe, just maybe, if enough of us demand it, someone will finally bring these back. But probably not, because they never do.